Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lee and August and Lewis and William and Elliot. We are going to be reading The Adventures of Mr. Toad, and we're going to miss 2 days this week, but we're going to try to read to you every morning other than those 2 days we'll miss. The first one is Jimmy Skunk is Puzzled. Old Mother West Wind had just come down from the Purple Hills and turned loose her children, the Merry Little Breezes, for the big bag in which she had been carrying them. They were very lively and very merry as they danced and raced across the green meadows in all directions, for it was good to be back there once more. Old Mother West Wind almost sighed as she watched them for a few minutes. She felt that she would like to join them. Always the springtime made her feel this way, young, mad, carefree, and happy. But she had work to do. She had to turn the windmill to pump water for Farmer Brown's cows, and this was only one of the many mills standing idle as they waited for her. So she puffed her cheeks out and started about her business. Jimmy Skunk sat at the top of the hill that overlooks the green meadows and watched her out of sight. Then he started to amble down the lone little path to look for some beetles. He was ambling along in this lazy way, for you know he never hurries, when he heard someone puffing and blowing behind him. Of course, he turned to see who it was, and he was greatly surprised when he discovered Old Mr. Toad. Yes, sir, it was Old Mr. Toad, and he seemed in a great hurry. He was quite short of breath, but he was hopping along in the most determined way, as if he were in a great hurry to get somewhere. Now, it was a very unusual thing for Mr. Toad to hurry, very unusual indeed. As a rule, he hops a few steps and then sits down to think it over. Jimmy had never before seen him hop more than a few steps unless he was trying to get away from danger, from Mr. Blacksnake, for instance. Of course, the first thing Jimmy thought of was Mr. Blacksnake, and he looked for him. But there was no sign of Mr. Blacksnake or of any other danger. Then he looked over hard at old Mr. Toad, and he saw right away that old Mr. Toad didn't seem to be frightened at all, only very determined, and as if he had something important on his mind. "Well, well," exclaimed Jimmy Skunk, "whatever has got into those long hind legs of yours to make them work so fast?" Old Mr. Toad didn't say a word, but simply tried to get past Jimmy and keep on his way. Jimmy put out one hand and turned old Mr. Toad right over on his back, where he kicked and struggled in an effort to get on his feet again, and looked very ridiculous. "Don't you know that it isn't polite not to speak when you're spoken to?" demanded Jimmy, severely, though his eyes twinkled. I beg your pardon. I didn't have any breath to spare," panted old Mr. Toad. "You see, I'm in a great hurry." "Yes, I see," replied Jimmy. "But don't you know that it isn't good for health to hurry so? Now, pray, what are you in such a hurry for? I don't see anything to run away from." "I'm not running away," retorted old Mr. Toad indignantly. "I've business to attend to at the Smiling Pool, and I'm late as it is." "Business!" exclaimed Jimmy, as if he could hardly believe his ears. "What business have you at the Smiling Pool?" "That is my own affair," retorted old Mr. Toad. "But if you really want to know, I'll tell you. I have a very important part in the spring chorus, and I'm going down there to sing. I have a very beautiful voice." This was too much for Jimmy Skunk. He just lay down and rolled over with laughter. The idea of anyone so homely, almost ugly looking as Mr. Toad, thinking that he had a beautiful voice. "Ha ha ha ho ho ho!" roared Jimmy. When at last he stopped because he couldn't laugh any more, he discovered that old Mr. Toad was on his way again. Hop, hop, hippity hop, 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 hippity hop went Mr. Toad. Jimmy watched him, and he confessed that he was puzzled.